Here's a fully developed story based on your title, written in a cinematic, emotional, and engaging style, with the requested calls to action woven in naturally. It's crafted to fit a 2,500-word YouTube narrative. The first time he saw his daughter's trembling hands clutching the tiny backpack, he realized how fragile life could feel when love was all that stood between you and despair. The world didn't know him as a billionaire. No, by day, he was just another tired single dad, carrying groceries, helping with homework, kissing scraped knees, and wrestling with bills that seemed to multiply like shadows in the night. But by night, behind closed doors, he transformed into a man of impossible wealth, commanding an empire worth billions. It was a life built on sacrifices, secrets, and a relentless drive to give his little girl everything she deserved, yet the cost of that life was almost too high to bear. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet strength of a parent's love, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Lonely Dad Strong Heart. His mornings began before sunrise, the soft hum of the city blending with the sound of his daughter's light breathing in the room next door. He brewed coffee stronger than most could drink, shoving down the bitter warmth to stay awake, to stay present. She was only 8, but life had already demanded too much from her. Her mother had vanished years ago, leaving behind unanswered questions and a void filled only by him. Each day, he fought the quiet despair that threatened to seep into her laughter, guarding it fiercely. They lived in a modest apartment on the edge of the city, one small space that smelled faintly of lavender and old books. On the walls, he hung sketches she made in school, little reminders that despite the chaos of the world outside, there was innocence and hope here. Yet, even as he worked tirelessly to create a stable home for her, the weight of his double life pressed down. The boardrooms and high-rise towers of his billionaire world were not just places of business, they were battlegrounds, filled with ruthless competitors and backstabbing allies who could destroy everything he had built with a single careless word. And if that world ever spilled into her life, it could ruin her childhood before she even knew it. His nights were spent in stark contrast to his days. The moment she fell asleep, he would shed his casual clothes for tailored suits, stepping into the glow of city lights and the cold hum of power. As the CEO of a global conglomerate, he made deals that could shape economies, yet each decision he made carried an unspoken weight. Every dollar, every strategic move, was meant to secure her future. In boardrooms, he was ruthless, commanding, and calculating. At home, he was gentle, broken at times, and endlessly patient. It was a delicate balance, and every day brought the fear that one misstep could shatter the fragile world he had built for her. One winter evening, a crisis struck that threatened everything. The company he had painstakingly built for years was under attack from a rival billionaire who had somehow discovered his double life. Threats began to emerge, not just to his empire, but to his daughter. Anonymous messages warned him to back down, hinting that her safety would be compromised if he didn't comply. Fear gripped him in ways he had never known. For the first time, the armor of wealth felt fragile, insufficient against the pure instinct to protect his child. He realized that money could not shield her from every danger, and that terrified him more than any financial loss ever could. Despite the danger, he refused to retreat. Each day, he walked the line between protecting her and maintaining the empire that could guarantee her future. He woke before dawn to help with school projects, held her hand through doctor visits, and listened to her fears, no matter how small. At night, he maneuvered through tense board meetings, lawsuits, and negotiations, always careful that his exhaustion would never touch her awareness. He fought invisible battles, often crying silently in his office, imagining what would happen if he failed. There were moments of near collapse. He remembers the night she got sick, a fever that burned with unrelenting intensity. He spent hours by her bedside, holding her small body against his chest, whispering reassurances to her fragile mind, praying she would be okay. Meanwhile, his phone buzzed endlessly with messages from executives and legal teams. He chose her warmth over the urgent calls, knowing that no boardroom victory could ever replace the life he held in his arms. That night, he realized that being a father was more than providing wealth, it was being present in ways no money could buy. Slowly, change began to creep in. Allies he had doubted revealed themselves to be true friends. Rivals who sought to undermine him underestimated the power of love guiding his decisions. Each act of kindness, each moment of genuine care, seemed to ripple through both his worlds, reminding him that courage and compassion were as valuable as strategy and influence. He learned to delegate, to trust, and to find strength not just in himself, but in the community of people who quietly supported him. His daughter noticed too, her laughter returning, brighter and more fearless than ever. The climax of their struggle arrived on a stormy night, when the threat against his empire reached its peak. A hostile takeover loomed, and he was forced to confront the ultimate choice: protect his company or protect his daughter from being dragged into a world too cruel for her innocence. In the quiet of their apartment, he made a decision that would define both their lives. He leveraged everything he had, every resource, every relationship, and every ounce of his brilliance, not to destroy his adversaries, but to secure a future where she could grow up safe, loved, and free from the shadows that haunted him. It was a masterstroke of strategy tempered with heart, and by dawn, the danger had passed. The morning after the storm, he watched her eat breakfast with the bright eyes of a child who had no idea how much she had been shielded from the storm raging in the world beyond their walls. He felt a surge of quiet pride, a deep relief that the darkest night had finally ended. In that moment, he understood that wealth and power were meaningless without love guiding them. And he realized that while the world might see him as a billionaire, to her, he would always be simply the dad who held her through the night, who wiped away her tears, and who fought battles invisible to everyone else. He kept his double life a secret from everyone but himself, not out of shame, but to protect the purity of the bond he shared with her. Each night, after tucking her into bed, he would look out over the city skyline, a man both ordinary and extraordinary, a father whose love transcended fear, fatigue, and every obstacle life had thrown in his path. And as he did, he whispered promises into the quiet, that no matter what challenges came their way, he would always fight, always endure, and always be there. If this story touched your heart, please engage with this video, like, share, and comment below. Your support gives hope to stories like theirs and reminds us all of the quiet strength of a parent's love. Before we end, I'd love for you to leave a comment sharing a moment when someone's love changed your life. It could be a parent, a mentor, or even a friend. These stories remind us that courage and kindness exist in ways that money cannot buy, and that true strength is measured in the hearts we touch. He may have been a billionaire by night, commanding empires that shaped the world, but by day, he was something far more extraordinary. A single dad, unwavering, tireless, and fiercely devoted. And in the end, he learned the most valuable lesson of all. The greatest legacy a man can leave is not wealth, not fame, not power, but the love he gives, the lives he protects, and the hope he instills in the heart of his child.